left in the men's pair as he was in the run-up to this regatta. So we will move shortly down to the lightweight women's double scull, and I will invite Svetla Otsitova, who is involved with FISA. She is the one, a former architect, or an architect by training and still by practice, who is responsible to see to it that the courses all over the world where we race are fair. I will read over the start for this race. First, lightweight women's double sculls, Italy, Erika Bello, Laura Milani in lane 1. We will go to Poland in lane 2, Magdalena Chemnitz and Ilona Mokronowska. She was out for nearly 10 years, having children and so on, came back, found this young partner, Magdalena Chemnitz, and they've been on the scene for a couple of years now doing well. Marit van Eupen, single sculls champion in the stroke seat, that's the right-hand seat of this crew, along with Kirsten van der Kolk of Netherlands. And of course, lightweight single scullers don't get an Olympic slot, but this is an Olympic event, so they're all looking for a doubles partner. China with Haxa Shen and Dongxiang Hu in lane 4. And that's closest to you, Dongxiang Hu. And next in Greece, for Greece in lanes 5, Chrissy Bistitsi and Alexandra Tsiavu, bronze medalists in 2004. And over there on the far side, near side in lane 6, the fastest qualifiers for this race, Berit Karau and Marie-Louise Dreger of Germany. So we see the
wind.
Indeed. In your day and my day, there were no lightweights and open weights. We all did it together. But now they're separated, and these athletes have to be 57 kilos or less. One of them can be as much as 59, but the average has to be 57. And that is not a lot of punch into a headwind like this. So a bit longer, and that is the difference between them and heavyweights. They can generate very similar boat speed, but not for quite so far, can they?
They can do it if the wind is blowing with them, but it's very difficult if the wind is a headwind, as it is the case now. So the times will be pretty much slower.
It's your responsibility, as we've said, to try and persuade national federations and the owners of courses all around the world to get them as fair as possible. And that means, what sort of adaptations do you try to make them adopt?
It's really a very complex issue and a complex task to find the best balance between the different aspects which are creating the conditions on the course. One of the things, for example, I'm always trying to convince the future planners or owners of rowing venues and courses is to keep the bank as low as possible, because this is allowing for the wind to go through, and not if the bank is higher up, the wind is hitting the water. If it's flat, low, then the wind is flat, just going over and not creating unfair conditions on the course by giving protection in the lanes which are near the bank and causing problems.
So we'll just go through the 500-meter mark of this race, and I will call it that it's Germany in the lead, with Greece in second place, which is exactly as we'd expect, Poland in bronze medal position, People's Republic of China in 4th, Netherlands 5th, and Italy in 6th place. Now we can see the bank and the trees behind us. As it happens, I believe that the headwind today is straight down the course, and I do not perceive it to be unfair to one side or the other. But if it was coming from slightly over on the far side of our picture, that bank is high enough to cause a problem or not?
It is high enough to cause problems. And this is why we have several plans how to react in such situations, so we don't disadvantage the crews with equal, otherwise racing capacity, and to give the equal chance to everybody, not being influenced by the wind or unfair condition on the course. It is funny sometimes what happens with courses when the wind is going in for a longer time in one direction diagonally, and the water is starting circulating in the lake itself, which is also a very strange phenomenon. and we are watching it very carefully.
I'm sure you are. There was a reputation always in the past that the 1928 Olympic course in Amsterdam had a circulation pattern like that, and you longed to be in lane 1 and you cursed if you drew lane 6. But of course they've done spent a lot of money, and they've done a lot of work at Amsterdam. Did it make a difference?
I was rowing in 77 and came with a silver medal. And
I should inform you that Svedler was rowing in 77 and came with a silver medal, as she says, having been Olympic champion in 76 the year before on Ile Sainte-Hélène in Montreal. I think the circulation pattern then was a little bit unfair. The question I asked you is whether the Dutch Federation and the owners of the Bosbaan course in Amsterdam have managed to solve it, in your opinion.
So what they did, they asked for advice, and what they did, they widened the course, and the conditions nowadays are much, much better.
Good.
And it allows for much better racing.
We enjoyed our World Cup regatta there last year, and I hope that we will return there in the future. So we have in picture Chris Bitsitsi and Alexandru Tsiavu of Greece, sculling very calmly, but in second place behind West Germany. All this talk of the old days, I can slip of the tongue there. Berit Karau and Marie-Louise Dreger. They are seasoned champions from prior years, and although they didn't feature on the medals they did. They got a tied bronze medal this time last year with Denmark, Katrin Olsen and Julian Eliander. So the bronze medalists of last year now leading this race with 750 meters to go, and they have half a length lead over Greece, and who were bronze medalists in 2006. And behind them, or close to them, or almost neck and neck with Greece in lane 5, is China in lane 4. But the German double has pushed out, and you can just see the bubbles from their slipstream, as it were, going along, and they won't cause any upset. But of course, in river racing, if you get a lead over another crew, you try and cross in front of them and send as much ripple down as you possibly can, because it is actually very disruptive to the rhythm of the crew following. But Germany safe as they come into the last quarter of the race with 1 length lead over Greece in lane 5 second, China in lane 4 third, and Netherlands with multiple champion Marit van Eupen in the stroke seat in 4th place. A good race here for bronze, silver, bronze and 4th place, but it looks to be relatively secure in the hands of Berit Karau and Marie-Louise Dreger. A lot of experience between them, 27 years old each, and they know their trade. Half a length up, I would say. So we're coming in the last 250 meters. We come into close to the big grandstand here in Munich, and it's lucky that the wind isn't coming from behind the grandstand today, because it would be a great advantage to the crews on this side, wouldn't it?
Well, definitely, and this is why we are giving a particular guideline where and how big should be the permanent facilities at the course, to make sure that the influence, the impact of the wind is minimized. And specifically in Munich, it's really difficult because the course was built many, many years ago when people were not so much concerned, I mean the rowing people, so much concerned about the conditions.
The Olympic champions in 1972, New Zealand, in the 8s, their coach was approached about what he'd say in the case of the headwind, which we had on that day, on Olympic finals day, and he said, I'll point out the headwind to them and I'll tell them they've got to pull a bloody sight harder. And that was the attitude we took in our day. But now we have Germany in the last 150 meters of this women's lightweight double sculls, qualified already for the Olympics, but coming through now to show their form in this year. Berit Karau and Marie-Louise Dreger have half a length of open water, sculling along very strongly over Greece in second place, and a great race now between Holland and China for the bronze medal. China just holding on to third position as they come up to the line. Holland may be able to challenge and get back in front, but it's Germany through the line, Greece through that, and it is impossible to call. And I think on the surge it was China And what I mean by the surge is that as soon as you take the blades out of the water and move the bodies towards the stern, actually the bow of the boat accelerates, and if you happen to be between one stroke and the next coming forward in your boat,